PPT. Uh, so let's go for screen sharing. Yeah. So today we are going to talk about your ESPs. I'm saying your ESPs because all of you have it. It's just that we have not used it earlier. So it is about ESPs, extra sensory perceptions, your psychic abilities. That's what we will discuss. And as you see in the first slide itself, it is all about connecting to your higher self and nothing else. So how well we connect with our higher selves, and how well we use all our extra sensory perceptions depends on practice and how well we develop our senses. So I'll start with the basics and then gradually move forward. Yeah. So as we all know, we have five senses, as you see here, and the senses are connected to the brain, and that is how you can smell, you can see, you can hear, touch, taste, and so on. Now, what are the senses? Mostly they are energies, and energy. When we say energy, they have their energy, we have our energy. It is energy exchange that takes place through which we are able to see, hear, touch, and so on. So many times you must have heard of a sixth sense. People talk about sixth sense, and especially you must have noticed that people who have lost one of their senses or haven't taken birth with one of their senses, could be hearing or could be sight or maybe multiple. You must have seen that these people have a sixth sense. For example, if there's a blind person sitting in front of you, and you come or you approach the blind person very closely without making any sound, any even a wave movement in the air, nothing, even then the person can perceive that you have come or somebody has come close to him or her. This is kind of a sixth sense. But you and me, who have all the five senses very active, you will not be able to do that. So, for example, if I ask you to close your eyes, and if somebody comes close to you, you may not be able to see, or you may not be able to even understand that somebody has come close to you. So, this is there with people who do not have one or two of the senses. Many a times we know people who can't see, who can't hear, who can't talk, and so on. So they have these senses. So it is not very uncommon. The reason why I'm talking about this is it is not very uncommon to have more senses than five. So it is all about how we develop those senses and how we nurture those senses, and how do we acknowledge the presence of these senses, and how we use it for the greater goodness of mankind. So some of the examples that even we have as some of the extrasensory perceptions are mentioned here. So, for example, many times you may be coming across situations where, sorry, where you go to a certain place and feel that, oh my God, looks very familiar. Or, for example, you come across a person and you have an immediate attraction or a repulsion. Like I had this perception with a person a couple of years back. I was in a lift in a hotel, and I was coming down from 21st floor downward, and there was a man just beside me, an Indian, And I was feeling extremely claustrophobic with that person standing beside me. And I started sweating. The person got down on the, I think, 10th or 11th floor or something, where there is a bar, dining and bar kind of a thing. He got down. And then I continued to come down to the ground floor. And within seconds, I was all right. So I was trying to think what actually happened. So then I realized it is the presence of that person. And I'm sure if you have not sensed this earlier, you must have definitely sensed one thing in your life. Maybe you see some person from a distance and you suddenly feel that, oh my God, you feel just pulled towards that person. Uh, as if you know that person for centuries. And you feel like talking, you feel like spending time with the person without even knowing anything about the person. Does it happen?
Yes, it's happened to me many times.
So these are all extrasensory perceptions. So I will come to details. Of course, telepathy happens to all of us. One by one, I'll come to all of these things. Clairvoyance, psychokinesis, and all of these. These are part of extrasensory perceptions. But I'll go to more detailed approach and discuss in detail and how do we develop some of these perceptions and in a very scientific manner. Before that, I want to discuss something very interesting. And you might be thinking, why all this physics? Bachpan mein to chhod ke aaye, abhi why again physics coming here? But there is a connection with physics when we talk about extrasensory perceptions. In this context, let me talk about one of my very dear friend, on which I have conducted many past life regressions. Of course, some of them are also life between lives and beyond that and so on. And I don't have any problem in taking her name. Her name is Dr. Mala Kapadia. She is now in I think Mangalore. So I was chatting with her yesterday, and I asked her that I'm taking a session tomorrow. So is it okay if I take your name? She said, "Yeah, Devashis, no problem. You can give my example." So in one of the past life regressions in her when I was conducting, she of course it was a very long drawn one. She went to a universe which is beyond ours. And there she sees herself as only a kind of a energy. It is not a ball, there's no physical form, nothing. She's just an energy, a bubble of energy. And she sees that all around her are only bubbles of energy. And she says that I can feel that I have a connection with this universe and earth and so on. So I asked, what are you doing that? I'm not going to drag it too far on this, but I was just asking her, what are you doing here? What is your objective? So then she says that I can feel that earth has depleted so much of our energy, and all of us here are very worried about earth. And all of us, we are kind of a small compact ball of collective energy who together work for earth, mother earth. And our job is always to pass on energy to mother earth. That is all that we do. We pass on energy to mother earth. So this superstring theory, or even the string theory, quantum physics, it talks about 10 dimensions. And in previous sessions, we have discussed about the mind. The mind has the conscious mind, subconscious mind, unconscious mind, superconscious mind, and so on. So if we talk about the superconscious mind is much beyond the earth, much beyond the 5 dimensions or the 4 dimensions. It actually expands its horizons to 10 dimensions. So when you talk about 10 dimensions, nothing is impossible. Nothing is impossible. And it is there with you, it is there in your mind. You can use your mind to tap 10 dimensions of anything and everything. So when I say anything and everything, what could it be? So as you know, we discussed in earlier sessions also, when we say anything or everything, it is all about our imagination. Now, the moment we are talking about the other worlds, it is all based on imagination. So it is the thought, it is the imagination. So tapping that world, it is possible, and it is energy exchange. You can touch, you can feel much beyond than your physical world. So the purpose of this slide is to help you understand that there are 10 dimensions, and if you are able to think and work and focus beyond 4 dimensions through conscious practice, you will be able to develop your extrasensory perceptions. Moving to the next slide. So I was thinking and thinking and thinking, do I directly come to the psychic senses, or I have a slide in between to help you understand how to move towards that. So I would suggest all of you to first practice. If you are weak in imagination, then there's a scientific way to grow your imaginative powers and psychic powers. But psychic powers will come later. First is imagination. There is nothing beyond or nothing better than, as you see there, there's nothing better than meditation, of course. But there are some very nice scientific ways to improve your imagination, and one of that is, as you see there, the candle. So all that you have to do is every day at a specific time during the day, better is twilight or dawn. That is before the sun rises and just before the sun sets. These are very powerful time zones. So select a time, select a place, select a seat for yourself, keep your spine straight. And if it is possible, try to make your room or the place with natural light or dark. Don't use artificial light. Light a candle in front of you, and preferably the height of the candle light should be at the height of your eyes, this way. Okay. Light a candle and observe the candle, the wax gradually melting. Just observe the wax gradually melting for 3 minutes, maybe 3 or 5 minutes. After that, remove the candle from your sight. Into your seat, sit down, close your eyes, sit straight. You will be able to see the candle glowing the way it was glowing in front of you. So just close your eyes, sit in meditative posture, and keep on observing, eyes closed, the candle gradually reducing its size as the wax melts. This is a very powerful initial exercise to empower your imagination. And it has been scientifically proven that this is one of the best methods of improving your imaginative capabilities. Another way of doing it, there are a lot of ways to do it. Another very nice way of doing it is, suppose in the night, just before going to bed, As you enter your room, be very mindful. Look at everything. So the exercise is as follows. Suppose you have your main entrance door. Try to enter through your main entrance door. Be very, very, very mindful about whatever you're doing. Enter through your entrance door, close it, observe everything, the color of the wall, the color of the door, the color of the light, whether it is a yellow light glowing or a tube light glowing. Observe everything. Close the door, come inside gradually. Maybe if you want to have a glass of water, have a glass of water or milk or whatever, come to your room and then lie down. Okay, switch off the light and lie down. After you lie down, try to avoid using a pillow so that your spine and your neck is straight. You lie down. After you lie down, just focus on what happened. Since you entered your main door, main entrance, and as you came, whatever you did until bed, whatever happened, just try to think. Now it could be just thinking. It could be imagining. It could be seeing. It could be anything. Whatever you're comfortable. Sometimes exactly seeing what happened is difficult, not so easy. If you practice this for 3 to 5 days, you will be exactly replicating what you did 2 minutes back or 3 minutes back in your when you lie down. You will be able to do that. These are certain very powerful exercises to improve your imagination. Okay, so before we go to psychic abilities, it is important and it will be very helpful for you to gradually groom your imagination, because the other world is all about imagination. Okay, so we go back to our slides. Well, there are essentially four psychic abilities, psychic senses, you may say: feeling, vision, hearing, and intuition. These are the four psychic abilities that we have. And I will discuss one by one. But of course, discussing will take just not more than half an hour. But to develop all these could take years, many a times. So again, a brief overview of all the four. Um, when we say psychic feeling, it is more of what we always have this sense of my gut feeling. So, for example, you have a meeting with your boss, and you talk to your friend and say, "My gut feeling is that today he's in a good mood, and my meeting with him will go well." Sometimes when things are not in the right place, you will feel some kind of a discomfort. And many of you, I'm sure, had this gut feeling of discomfort in your belly area, diaphragm area. There's a kind of a discomfort. Okay. So that is psychic feeling. Inner sound, I can give you my example. So there is this, again, there are certain exercises for inner sound, and I once, I mean, there was a just one second. Sorry. So there was a my you can say my kind of my Guruji, his daughter's son. Uh, passed away, and he thought that there could be something wrong in the way it happened. So I tried to understand what actually happened, and cutting the long story short, I I got a voice, just a single word, Fakir Ramdas, nothing else, nothing else. So lest I forget or something happens, immediately I called him. He did not take the call. His wife was there. His wife took the call. And I told her that, you know what, I got this message about Fakir Ramdas. And I really don't understand how can a Fakir be a Ramdas and how can a Ramdas be a Fakir? Because generally Fakirs are of a different religion than Hindus. So I really don't know, but I heard this. So I thought I'll share with you. And my guru used to stay somewhere very close to Borivali National Park. Sorry. My guru used to stay in Dahisar in Mumbai. Of course, far away from the hustles and bustles of Mumbai. It is far away from the real Mumbai. So much later, he told me that I identified who was this Fakir Ramdas. And he identified a temple where he used to be a priest, this Fakir Ramdas. And that is how he was known. And they found it really, shocking that, oh my God, my inner sound that I heard was actually right. And then, of course, there's a long story to it, which I don't want to discuss. It will take a long time. So often we hear this inner sound. Very common example with all of us is we keep our key somewhere and we forget where it is. We keep our specs somewhere and we forget where it is. We keep our wallet somewhere and forget where it is. And we are searching here and there. Suddenly, oh my God, I kept it inside that cupboard. This is often inner sound, inner voice. And of course, as my first slide also mentioned, it is your higher self. The inner sound always comes from your higher self, and higher self could be at different hierarchical levels. So it need not be the immediate higher, it could be much higher than that also many times. Okay, so that is about psychic hearing. And the other one, as you saw, was intuition, psychic intuition. Intuition is generally psychic. It is not natural because it is beyond the five senses. So it is more about an inner awareness. You have this intuitive awareness, and many times you will say that I knew this is going to happen. I just know this. From where did you know? No answer. You will not be able to justify whether somebody told you or something. You just say, yeah, I knew this. ऐसा तो होना ही था. Many times we say this. ये तो होना ही था, मुझे पता था ऐसे ही होगा. That is your intuition. And inner vision is like the third eye, clairvoyance. There are people who can see your energy chakras. Wherever there is a problem in your body, the color of the chakra, the concentration of light changes. And there are people who can see it. And even in this group, there are people who can see it. So that is also part of third eye or inner vision. So these are the four categories, as you saw in the previous slide also. Psychic feeling, psychic vision, psychic hearing, and psychic intuition. So these are the four categories. Now I'll go slightly in detail. The psychic feeling. So psychic feeling, as you see in the lower part of the slide, it's about your solar plexus. So it is located in your solar plexus. So question is, Who are these people who have psychic feeling? I'm giving, cutting the long story short, generally people who are very concerned about others, generally people who can sense something, some trouble, something good or bad happening to others prior to its actual happening. People who trust their feelings deeply, and people who are generally not punctual. These are some of the, of course, there could be more, but these are some of the symptoms to match whether you have psychic feeling or not. Now the question is it possible to develop your psychic feeling? Of course it is. There are two ways in which you can do it. As you see, there is a mantra also there, which can be chanted to improve or enhance your psychic feeling. But at the same time, you can also practice psychic feeling. So what you have to do, you have to just for all these four senses, it is important to have both things, meditation and imagination. Okay, so you have to be in a meditative posture and bring your entire focus of the mind into your solar plexus. Solar plexus is located, as you see there, just below the diaphragm, just below the two ribs of yours. That is the location. So from there, you have to imagine that you have a funnel which is opening up. Okay, you have to imagine that you have a funnel that is opening up. You can close your eyes, focus on the funnel that is opening up. And when you imagine that a funnel is opening up from your diaphragm, your solar plexus, you have to imagine that the funnel opens up to universal wisdom. You may not be knowing what is universal wisdom, but just try to bring that thought of universal wisdom, which is much beyond normal human being, the knowledge and the wisdom that exists in the real world. Close your eyes and sense the feeling. Of course, it is not a one-day exercise. It will take time. Now, one question that I asked my gurus when I learned that, when I open up this way and I try to sense feeling, one feeling comes. The question is, how do I trust whether it is a psychic feeling or it is my own biased feeling? And that is something that any new person who starts with any psychic abilities, this kind of a question will always be there. So the answer is trust on the initial perception, initial thought that comes to you. Just trust that, the initial thing. And many times, okay, so there are also some indicators to understand whether it is psychic feeling or not, or for that matter, all the four different kinds. One, it is your first impression. Two, ask your normal mind, normal brain, that would you have thought about this had you thought with your logic and earthly wisdom. Third, and the last point to understand whether it is from the psychic world or not, it will not be a negative message. It will be a positive message. So these are three identification or three ways in which you can understand and identify whether what you are feeling is your psychic ability or not. So many times when you're starting at the initial level, you may just feel nothing, just nothing, emptiness, the nothingness. So then what? Be in the nothingness. Be in the nothingness for some time. Don't be restless. Something will emerge from the nothingness. And this is the wisdom of psychic ability. Be patient, keep practicing, something will emerge from nothing. The answer could be something that is very good for you, answer could be not so good, and so on. And as you keep practicing, you can keep on questioning your psychic feeling. Okay, you are telling me that I shouldn't have done it, or I'm not feeling comfortable with so and so person. Why? What happened? Did I have some, untoward conversation with that person? Did he reach me any harm? If yes, when? This birth, previous birth, through somebody? Did he do it inadvertently or did he do it purposely? Did he have any material gain in doing that? What was the nature of this kind of an attitude? Why did he do it? Keep questioning, one after the other, one after the other. Keep on questioning. You will not get all the answers right in the beginning, and it is practice, practice, and practice. We go to the next. Psychic vision. Psychic vision is very interesting, and I'm sure many of you already have your third eye open. So it is at the third eye, and you know, how do you identify that you have psychic vision? This is very easy. This is very easy to understand. You can close your eyes, you can predict things, you can understand, spot danger, spot some kind of a feeling, whether good or bad or whatever it is. You are generally farsighted, you are not a myopic person. uh, and Sometimes you can get a feeling if something is not going in the right direction, you will have that perception. My hunch is something wrong is happening here, even if everything is correct, everything is perfect. Okay. And you will generally have an excellent sense of time, situations also, and problems, because you can see from a holistic perspective. um, I mean, there was a time when people used to believe that third eye, developing the third eye, you need to be a muni, you need to become a rishi, you need to become a saint. But that is not true. Each one of us can develop our third eye. There's a nice, exercise for that. You have to keep your hand in lotus position this way. Keep your hand in lotus position, close your eyes, sit straight, bring your focus just on your forehead here, just above the middle of your eyebrows. Bring your focus here, tap here few times, close your eyes, sit straight, bring your hands in this position, and chant the mantra Om Mani Padme Hum. So keep on chanting the mantra Om Mani Padme Hum. This is one of the most powerful mantras that as human beings we have received. It's extremely powerful, and if you keep on practicing this mantra, you will be able to develop your third eye. Of course, all those who have third eye, it doesn't mean that they have practiced this mantra and they have developed. There are several other ways of developing a third eye also, but this is one of the way. Also, the technique which is mentioned here is also something that you can focus. You can just focus on your at the middle of your forehead, and try to be in a meditative posture for a very long time, and gradually from nothingness you will be able to gather wisdom. But this is more of a longish process. If you are able to sit in that posture with that hand in this position, and chant the mantra Om Mani Padme Hum, then you will be able to capture your psychic vision. Psychic vision has two areas. One is being able to see beyond the obvious, and also to understand aura levels of people, whether there is any disturbance in the aura level. So many people who have third eye open, they can see what is wrong in the physical body of a person, where it is wrong. So even before you go for a medical test or a medical examination, you will see that if you talk to a person whose third eye is open, the person can easily tell you, you know what, I think there is a kidney stone, but you should definitely go for a medical test, but it appears to be a kidney stone. There are people who say like this. So you can develop, and these are certain ways in which you can do it. The next, intuition. You will hardly find a person who doesn't have intuition. Everybody has intuition to a certain extent, high, low, medium, whatever it is, but we all have intuitions. Okay. So people who are having good intuition, you will generally be good at anticipating what is going to happen. Okay. You are a quick, you are generally very quick in adjusting yourself to changing situations, changing circumstances, and so on. And you might suddenly find yourself in the right place at the right time also. You are generally very creative, because your imagination is very strong. When your imagination is very strong, your imagination will help you to create something which is beyond the physical or the material world. So that is why you are more creative also. And many times, as I told you, you will come across a situation where you will say, I knew this. I knew this is going to happen. And where is the place? It is the top of your head, the crown chakra. The crown chakra is the antenna for psychic intuition. But as I told you, intuition is always psychic. Intuition is not one of the five senses that we have. And you can tap the universal wisdom through your crown chakra. Om is the mantra for improving your crown chakra, improving the connection of your crown chakra with the world. So how should you do it? As per this photo that you see there. So you should just sit straight. Again, the same process. Sit straight, close your eyes, bring your focus on your crown chakra at the top of your head. Tap here a few times, and then the photo is there in front of you. Look at the photo, close your eyes, and imagine that a funnel is opening up from your crown chakra this way. And the funnel connects right up to universal source, to the source, to the divine. Imagination. It is all imagination. So I have a pipe. So many times you don't need to even imagine a funnel. It can be a pipe also. Pipe that connects from your crown chakra to the universe. Just imagine that. Once you have that in place, you can start asking questions about something. I've misplaced my car keys. Where could it be? I'm not getting the right senses with my dear friend XYZ. Is something wrong with him or her? Is he going through some turmoil? Do I have the ability to help him or her? If yes, what should I do? What should be my stance? What should I do? Please guide me. And as I told you, initially it will be nothingness. From nothing, something will emerge. And always trust your first impression. And that is the key. The last is psychic hearing. I give you an example of psychic hearing. I told you the story of Fakir Ramdas. That was psychic hearing. The psychic organs of psychic hearing lies just above your ears, just above your ears. Again, you can follow the same procedure. Relax, sit straight, spine straight, have some distance between the support and your back so that energy can flow easily. Take a few deep breaths. Try to bring your focus on your breath. Take three to five deep breaths. And bring your focus entirely just above your earlobes, the upper part of your earlobes. And imagine that there are two funnels that open up from just above your earlobes. They open up, and they open up to universal wisdom. The trick of all these psychic abilities is you should not force. And that is why many people I have seen, whenever I have spoken about these things, they try and try and try and try, and then they fail, and then they give up. And one day, playfully, they just try it, and it happens. So you should not try and try and try. Don't force. Relax. Relaxation is the key here. Don't have expectation. If it happens, great. If it doesn't happen, even then, you should be happy. At least you tried. You came to know something new. Why not? In the initial phase of trying this, you can try the mantra which is written there. That also opens up your psychic hearing abilities. You can try that. Okay, this was not a very long presentation. There's lots in psychic abilities. I'm not going to go too deep into that. This was just the initial session on psychic abilities. What are the things that you should be careful about? Of course, you should be careful about negative information. So many times it may happen. It happened to me. I was very young that time. I was in I think I was in 10th standard. I gave my board exams. I don't know whether I shared with you earlier. I gave my board exams, and the day was Rath Yatra. And in Bengal, Rath Yatra is quite big thing. So, and there is to be a huge mela close to where I grew up. So I was with my friends, and I was in the crowd in that mela, Rath Yatra mela. So, and I distinctly remember all of us together were having some pani puri or something like that we were having. Suddenly, I don't know what happened. I left everything and I started running towards my home. And I just knew that something has happened. Something wrong has happened. And before my home, there is a gully that takes from the main road. There's a gully that takes towards my home. And at the T junction of the gully, I see my father running the other side towards the doctor. The doctor stays very close. So he was rushing towards the doctor. Those days, telephone was also not there. And I just knew something is wrong. That is why, so I didn't even ask him what happened. I rushed home and I saw, and when I reached, I find my aunt passed away. She had some disabilities, and I see that she has passed away. And I just thought, oh my God, I knew something is wrong. And I'm sure in this group, I'm not alone. There are many of you who get such messages when something is really wrong in your family, among your dear ones. So that is not very uncommon. That happens with all of us. So be aware of the negative information also. So not all information will be positive. There could be negative information also. And when you develop your psychic senses, also you have to learn the art of attaching and detaching from that. When it is over, you have to come back to the real world, the earthly world. You have to be back. Don't remain in that world for long. Okay. uh, and don't try to be too much of a perfectionist. It should be this way. Why did it happen? Because you have the broader picture. So many times you may tend to become perfectionist. So try to be perfectionist to the extent it is possible. Don't go too much beyond that. And my last, I won't say advice, I'm nobody to give you advice, but my last suggestion to all of you is, if you want to develop any of your psychic abilities, it is practice, practice, and practice. So I'm mostly done. This is something very interesting. I can share this table with you. These are certain YouTube links which provide a musical note that enhances the abilities of all your chakras, all the 7 chakras. So as you see, I have some YouTube links here. I can share the YouTube links separately to you through Alisha. You can actually hear some of these YouTube. You can just switch it on and then go to a meditative state. So suppose if you are talking about your third eye, then you can just imagine the color blue, purple kind of a thing, and switch on note A on YouTube, which runs at 720 hertz, and then practice Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum. There's a nice chanting of Om Mani Padme Hum also. So do that along with the music at the background. That helps a lot in developing your